Hey, good morning. My name's Paul. Welcome in. I hope you're having such a blessed day, and I just wanted to say good morning. I hope you're doing well today. Uh, so, I'm creating this channel just to give a little bit of a start to your day, your morning coffee, as you would, speaking of which, and to just provide like a little bit of a morning practice in order to try to start my day better and share that with all of y'all. So, without further ado, we've got the Palo Santo, so we have smudged. We've cleared the negative energies. We've meditated, we've prayed, we've done all those good things. So hopefully I can get the message clear and share it with you today. So without any further ado, let's first cleanse, and I'm going to use a sound bowl to do this. And the resonances will clear out negative frequencies and allow us to be fully here and present. Beautiful. So for starters, I wanted to share. I got this deck. It's the Four Agreements deck. The Four Agreements are a beautiful book by, um, I think, Don Miguel Ruiz. Let me clarify really quick. Yeah, spot on. I need to learn to trust my intuition better. But anyway, they turned that book into these spirit cards, and they're all tied to different aspects of that book. And I wanted to pull one to kind of focus on for a second here before we get into the reading. Oh, this one flipped over. Oh, it's a beautiful card. This falls under be impeccable with your word. Enjoy heaven on earth. This is what the card looks like. On the back it says impeccability of the word can lead to personal freedom, success, and abundance. You can attain the kingdom of heaven from this one agreement. Be impeccable with your word. The back is like a rainbow, kind of fun. Um, yeah, so that's something I'm going to try to focus on this morning. It's kind of great for my first video to get that card, so it definitely applies to me. But let's do one more ring of the song bowl and just meditate on that idea for 1 second here. Beautiful. All right, so the first message that kind of came to me, it actually came to me when I was lighting this candle this morning. It's that Ashwood and Palo Santo candle. It smells absolutely delightful, and I'm grateful to have this candle today because it's made my morning a lot more pleasant. But when I lit this candle this morning, the words that came to me, it's like an old thing I remember from going to church when I was younger, but like, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And just that idea is, I think, such a small phrase, but it means so much. Um, all of us have a little light that gets bigger as we grow and ascend, and our energy signatures become more aligned with our authenticity. And that leads me to what I want to talk about today, which is a focus on authenticity. Why be authentic? What is being authentic? And how does life lead into authenticity? So when I was younger and raised, I was always taught to speak when spoken to, as well as learn to people please or affirmation seek. And being someone who has always been very empathetic, it's been pretty easy for me to basically read other people's emotions and read other people's needs and then meet those needs before they even know they existed. And it created this kind of a feedback loop where, as opposed to looking inward and like going to God and the universe and Gaia for like validation for who I am as like a spirit and a soul, I would look to other people in order to define how I should be, how I should show up, and basically used other people's affirmation as the source of guidance for my life. That being the case, I know at this point, because I've done a lot of soul searching, I spent like over the last decade a lot of time figuring out who I am from like a soul level. My authenticity does not exist in my physical experiences that I've had in this incarnation. Those physical experiences have taught me a lot about what I like and dislike and what things naturally resonate and align with me. However, my interactions with other people, a lot of that was me sounding out, trying these different things, and then like projecting certain ideas. And then I'd get reflections from other people based on they reacted. And I would use that reflection of my projection as a means to determine, is this aligned with who I am or who I want to be, or is it not? There's a really powerful man. His name is shoot bananas. I don't know why I'm blanking. I think it's my first video, so I'm kind of nervous, to be honest. But basically, he's done a bunch of shoot bananas. He's done a bunch of like research into like addiction and stuff like that. And like he talks about like addiction is part of me. I'm in recovery from substances as well as recovery from life and a lot of karmic cycles, karmic patterns, many of which were passed down to me ancestrally through both my mom and dad's lineages and were propagated by society. But long story short, he talks about how in order to find healing and recovery, like everyone needs two things: one, authenticity, and two, healthy connection. To act authentically means that one needs to be self-realized, and that's not something that I had really understood. Like I kind of assumed that I knew who I was because I'm me, right? Turns out with the monkey mind going on and me constantly looking at other people for validation and support, the way that other people expected me to be became who I thought I was. And when you tie that to the need for like healthy attachment or connection to other people, like we all share this world. We need other people in our life. Connection is one of the most beautiful things that exist. In order to have that connection, I would self-manipulate in order to fulfill some sort of role that I felt was needed so that I would have that attachment, that connection, that validation. Ultimately, it led me to a lot of inherently negative situations that were actually positive, but like a lot of toxicity, because God created these experiences for me to have in my life so that I could learn and grow, and through like a level of self-awareness and using the noticing mind, meaning not judging things as good or bad, but just as is, and like kind of having faith in the process, exposing myself to a lot of low vibrational people, like habits, be it addictions, be it like, I mean, any of the 7 deadly sins, like they're called that for a reason. They really inhibit one's capacity to grow spiritually. Very much kept me in a space where I was being who I should be based on my ancestral timelines. Like there's a lot of karma in my ancestral timelines that I had to offset, and if I didn't go through the suffering required to do that, that would not have like allowed me to ascend to the point where I am today. Long story short, authenticity is the highest vibration. It's not like specifically like love for other people, love for yourself, and like self-validation, self-appreciation, being who you are, like genuinely, is a higher vibration than just being happy all the time or putting on emotions for other people. And that's one thing that I always tripped up on when I was younger, is I would spend a lot of time like judging myself based on how other people received me. So when I was in a bad mood, people would be in a bad mood too. So I would assume that bad moods, like being like angry, sad, lonely, frustrated, any of these things, resentful. That's a huge one. Meant that I was in a low vibration. So I would like falsely put on this face of optimism. I called it like literally spiritual bypassing, where I would like use toxic gratitude, toxic positivity to find the upside in every situations, but not let myself feel bad emotions or negative emotions. All emotions exist for a reason. I found like in my own journey that like the negative emotions have actually led me to more growth spiritually than the positive ones. Don't get me wrong, I love feeling blissed out, I love feeling joy, I love feeling all these just incredible, like I've had many beautiful experiences in my life. And that being the case, the negative experiences and learning to transfigure and alchemize the energy from negative circumstances are what led me more to spiritual growth. um, I think it's really important for me to remember that like I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm an eternal divine being, meaning my life, my spirit, my soul exists far beyond this single incarnation. But before incarnating here, I chose the life path that I was on because it was going to allow me to grow the most spiritually. That means that all the negative experiences, all the karmic cycles, all the trauma, failed relationships, physical, emotional, sexual abuse, all these different things, spiritual repression, that was a big one too. Those were all contributory factors in me growing spiritually and understanding who I am authentically. When I feel negative emotions, it makes me go inward. And as a human being with a consciousness, I'm an animal with a conscious mind that has the capacity to be self aware and reflect. That being the case, my human body likes comfort. It doesn't like change, which is inherently not positive when it comes to spiritual growth, due to the fact that change is completely necessary in order to move beyond the 3D timelines that existed from my ancestors. Like everyone has free will, and ultimately people can do what they want with their lives. Um, that's everyone's God-given right. But for me, I've always tried to chaperone being a generational curse breaker, meaning that I would be able to experience life exactly as it is and then be able to break the chains to my past generational ancestral karma and trauma that exists, so that I can become a more effective, honestly, servant or channel for the higher ups, for God, the universe, for Gaia, the archangels, all my ancestors before me. Who, by the way, it's really neat to like be able to connect to your lineage, because as soon as my ancestors transcended, they were able to start supporting me in like the ethereal realms. Maybe they're not here in the third dimension, but they've proven that there needs to be 11 dimensions mathematically for like this world as we know it to exist. So time is very much caught up in the third dimension, like we live by it, but it's not actually real. It's just a way for us humans to collaborate and get along and be in tribes more than 50 people. Anyway, so going back to like authenticity, I think one of the biggest challenges with it is when I became self-realized, I recognized that like that made me different from my tribe, from my inherited family, my inherited social groups, like all of these different things. God actually had to put me in like a bit of an isolation bubble for about 9 months in order to be reborn into the man who I am today. Um, a big part of that is because I was not able to grow in the environment that I was in due to the expectations and projections of other people. And my ongoing need for affirmation seeking from others so that I didn't feel alone. When I didn't realize that, like, when others are not self realized themselves, it's not a genuine attachment at that point. Like, you serve a certain purpose for comfort in their perception of reality and their perception of what their connection with you is. But ultimately, it's very different from respect. Like the term respect, re-inspect, means to see again and again and again. And being like a human who is like self-realized means that I'm constantly growing. I'm not the same person 2 days in a row. And I don't think I ever was. I don't think any person ever is. But the number of people who are able to perceive another like on a day-to-day basis over and over again and have actual respect, um, those people are a little bit few and far in between. That doesn't mean like be a dick, like live by ethical standards and like live by morals, but like morality shouldn't come from the threat of abandonment or going to hell or these different things. Like morality should come from a place of deep humility and empathy and compassion, all of which are the product of spiritual growth and spiritual ascension. Like as a baby, you're born and you're curious, but you're inherently self centered and selfish. So, in this process of growing and learning and becoming, it becomes like a challenge to break out of that to the point where, like, when you actually reach a point of like spiritual maturity and emotional growth, one recognizes that the only person who needs to validate me is me, because I was designed perfectly. I'm perfectly imperfect. I don't do most things correctly. It's funny, we had the card about be impeccable with your word, and I already have been not been impeccable with my word in this like video. It's impossible to be quote unquote perfect, but my perception of perfect is far from the divine's perspective of perfect, because perfection is an egoically generated idea that is impossible to attain and will keep you in that loop of that karmic loop for as long as you care to entertain the idea that like you have the capacity to be God. Um, I don't. I'm guessing you don't, and if you do, you probably already clicked off this video because you know all the shit that I'm talking about and you don't want to waste your time. But it's kind of fascinating to me, like just like the progression of this all, and like to become an authentic soul is really one of the most beautiful processes that I've ever experienced in my life, to the point where like my emotions are now tied to the reality that I live in. They're not tied to pulling me in one direction or another for like security based on previous experiences. They're tied to what do I enjoy doing, what do I not enjoy doing, and then also embracing the negative emotions, because like I know the suffering helps me grow. I also know it's a part of the human condition. I mean, like, we're all aging, like honestly, like it's weird to think about, but we're all in the process of dying. It's a matter of like how long it takes you to get there. And like one needs to grieve that process in itself and recognizing like the finality, finality, like the opposite of infinite aspect of being a human, and like learn to actually embrace and enjoy the opportunities that come through day-to-day experiences. And that's why like they call it the present, like not to quote like Kung Fu Turtle or whatever, but like Oogway or whatever, the old turtle in that, or did I say Kung Fu Turtle? I meant Kung Fu Panda. Oogway, the old esteemed wise turtle in that movie, talks about how the past is forgotten, you can't control the future, um, and the only thing that we have is the present, and that's why it's a gift. And I find that to be really true. And I guess my hope for you today is that you can go through your day and move through your day recognizing you're not going to do anything perfectly, but all those emotions that you have, if you allow them to exist and not judge them as good or bad or try to avoid them, will help you go through your day in a way with like the noticing mindset, instead of going into fight or flight and like avoidance and denial and all these things. Just a noticing mindset, like allow things to be. And like through that process, one can start to identify like what resonates with me and what does not resonate with me. um I think that I'm using you and me and all that stuff all over the place, but I think y'all get the message. um Thank you for being you and for existing and sharing this incarnation with me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Um, I'm just grateful to be alive today. I'm grateful to have gone through the experiences that I have, because they have shaped me into the beautiful soul that I am. And I've grown so much spiritually in this incarnation in ways that I never had the potential to in some of my past lives. And it's setting up my future in the future timelines in such a better way that I feel so much purpose that I never had before. I'm very grateful for you, and I'm going to finish with a couple of card pulls, if that is okay with you. If you're not curious about that, feel free to click off or whatever. But yeah, we're gonna start with this. I think it's called, yeah, Spirit of the Animals Oracle. What is your animal of the day? Oh, what do we got? Raccoon, inventor. This is what the card looks like. These cards are so beautiful. I love them so much. But it basically says, decide on what you really want. You have the integrity to claim it. Avoid being the trickster and practice integrity. You have many roles and can juggle them well. I'm going to go into the guidebook real quick. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, not Raven, not Ram, Raccoon. Let's go. The raccoon represents creative, confident, curious, shy, secret, fastidious, fussy, disguises, dexterity, mask, bandit, adaptable, and survivor. Raccoon is nature's problem solver. They teach us if one thing doesn't work, try something else. Their curiosity, dexterity, and intelligence helps them discover new ways to live and survive. Raccoons are able hunters and know how to provide. The parents are good teachers to their children. They are dexterous with their hands and very tidy and clean. If raccoon is your totem, you are clever, useful, fastidious, creative, and confident. You always find your way to your goal. You are playful and love the night. You can enjoy getting into a little trouble. The raccoon person wears many masks. With this totem, you may need to put on a new face to create greater success. Raccoon medicine can teach you to move with ease through your many roles in life, whether as an associate, parent, child, friend, or partner. Raccoon people are secret keepers and need to guard against a tendency to purposefully deceive. Raccoons can be tricky little bandits. If your creativity and thinking expands at night, you might be a nocturnal genius like Raccoon. You are playful, loving, and clever. Your gifts are many. Use them. Be fearless and go after what you really want. And in the contrary, have you changed masks too many times and misplaced your true identity? Have you been tempted to steal or deceive? Is someone tricking or stealing from you? Look out for deception. Choose integrity. What a beautiful card for the message today about authenticity. Have you changed masks too many times and misplaced your true identity? It's hard to know that until you've become self-realized, and that process is a beautiful process that takes a lifetime. But in acting in authenticity, it's easy to be yourself and be genuine and authentic, but then show up in the way that is needed for a given situation. And I think that's really where the power of the like raccoon spirits come in, is like being able to adapt to situations and recognizing, it's like the serenity prayer, the wisdom to know the difference between what you have control over and what you don't, and then being a moralistically positive person in whatever situation that is. It doesn't mean like imposing your will, but letting thy will be done. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're gonna do one tarot pull as well. Let's see what we're looking at today. One card, please. Can I please have one card? Oh, thank you kindly. Appreciate you, spirits. And the tarot card is creative expression. If you have a question, think of a question in your mind right now, a yes or no question. The answer to that question is yes. Whatever the first question that came to mind is. And this represents creative expression, romantic proposals, offers, invitations, taking action, follow your heart, attraction, dating, affection, your ideal man or woman, an amiable, intelligent young person full of new ideas and proposals. So what this card is saying to me today is be creative. Going back to the idea of being an inventor, that's like my personal card that I pulled this morning. Embrace your creativity, embrace your authenticity, embrace whatever you're doing. And instead of saying no from a place of fear or a place of insecurity, and due to the fact of putting yourself out there, and like whether or not you'll be affirmed by other people, whether people care about what you do, it's not about that. Like being your authentic self is the most beautiful thing you can do. And by just taking the step in the right direction, one little step for me, it was making this video, and I've gotten many affirmations in just the process of doing it. You are allowing yourself to basically try new things, figure out what works and what doesn't work, and use creative expression, because it is the ultimate way to alchemize all the negative ways in your life. Be that through service work, be it through making music, writing, painting, cooking, whatever it looks like. Just do some stuff that makes you feel like you. And a good signpost for like genuine creativity is when time disappears. If you get in that flow state, like you're doing something and it allows you to stop thinking about the future or the past, but just be right here in the now and the present, then that is a great way to continue to spend time in the present moment being you, and like the you that is here today, not the you of yesterday or the you that you hope for tomorrow, but just you today, because you are beautiful and I love you, and I'm grateful that you took the time to be with me here today. If you got something from the video, please like, share, subscribe. I think that's what all the kids are saying these days. And yeah, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be me today, and that is not something that I've even knew was possible, because I had no freaking idea who I was. But that's why we got all these experiences to help us get there. So much peace and love to you today. I hope that you take good care of yourself. Self care is the best care. And with that, I will see you again soon. Peace.